What's up, everybody? It's Saucy Rossy, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and today I made two delicious racks of ribs. One was with some local Nova Scotian honey, and the other was with local Nova Scotian Haskap Jelly. And this was just like, holy cow, these racks of ribs were absolutely incredible. So come on for the ride. I'll show you how I cooked up these delicious ribs. Check out that smoke ring right there. Like, this is something I'm actually proud of. These ribs came out perfect. You can see that little bit of jelly on the side. There's some honey on those ribs in the background. Just a 10 out of 10. So I went to Costco. I picked myself up 2 racks of ribs. I'm just gonna slice in there and do the regular, right? We're gonna get them out of the package. We're gonna pat them dry, just using some paper towel. And then we're gonna get them all seasoned up. Now, if you're new to doing ribs, they have something on the bottom called the silver skin. It's really important. You get your fingers in there. You can talk to my wife about that. And then you pull off the silver skin right here. That's really important. Silver skin's gross. I don't recommend leaving it on. Some people just say you can slice into it. I am not a fan of that. Personally, I make sure to remove it on all racks of ribs. But to each their own. It's not going to like taste bad per se. It's more of like a texture thing on the bottom for me. But yeah, I always remove my silver skin. And when I'm doing up my ribs, I always make sure to start with a mustard binder. This is not necessary. Like, let me be very clear about that. You can just go straight on with your dry rub, but the mustard binder does help a little bit in my opinion. So do what you please. I'm not going to judge. Today I'm using Kuso Cuts Gravel, and I'm going to give it just a light little coating. I'm not going anything too crazy. The flavors from the honey and the Haskap jelly are really what I want to shine through on this cook. So as you can see here, I'm giving it that nice light sprinkle over top. I also recommend you just run your hand along the side. Ribs are a little bit bigger of a piece of meat to cook. So, you're going to be throwing dry rub around. You don't really want to waste it. So, keep your hands to the side. Make sure everything's landing on top. Then, once you've got the bottom side fully coated, we're going to flip them over to the presentation side, or the top side. We're going to repeat the exact same steps. So let's go ahead, fully coat those in our mustard binder. Today I'm using Frenchie's mustard, but literally any mustard can be used here. I highly recommend using a low quality mustard that's cheap, just because the flavor really doesn't come through. You don't taste the mustard or anything. So, don't use expensive mustard for this kind of thing. I made that mistake when I was a bit newer to barbecue, and looking back on it, it was kind of just a waste of mustard. So go ahead, let's get this nice and coated up here. Don't go too crazy with it though, because like I said, we're gonna try and get the honey and the Haskap jelly flavors really shining through here. Now for this cook, I'm gonna be using my offset smoker, and I've got my lumber rolling here. We've got this at about 275, 300 right now. That's probably where I'll be holding it this whole cook, roughly around 275. I think that's the ideal temperature. Honestly, you can do it anywhere between the range of like 225 and 325. The higher you go, the faster it will cook. The lower you go, the longer it will take to cook. But you're aiming for like 195 internal after everything is said and done. But for my ribs, I kind of follow Heath Ryle's championship method. So if you're unfamiliar with that, what that means is I'll start the ribs directly on the smoker like this, and I'm going to leave them probably for about 3.5 to 4 hours. I go a little bit longer than Heath, but I go about that time frame. So let's say 3.5 hours or so. Then what I do is I pull them off, and I prepare tinfoil for them. So that means I'm gonna put down a layer of sauce, some butter, then I flip the ribs in. You'll see here very shortly when I'm doing it. And when I'm doing this, what we're going to do is we're gonna put that tinfoil wrapped ribs back on the smoker. We're gonna let them sit there for about an hour and a half. So 3.5 hours uncovered, 1.5 hours covered, and then we're at the 5-hour mark. So we're gonna finish them off for one last hour, open, letting that smoke penetrate back in and finish off the cook. That leaves you with a 6-hour cook for these ribs, and it's just deadly. So check out this wonderful honey I got. It's made by Cosman Whidden, and they're local to Nova Scotia. And I just love Nova Scotia products, or really Atlantic Canadian products. You'll know that if you pay attention to my channel at all. Big Atlantic Canadian boy over here. And you know, guys, if you're from Atlantic Canada, and have any recommendations for any sauces, honeys, dips, anything like that you think I should try out, please let me know. So, like I said, I got my tinfoil ready for the first rack of ribs here. And we're going to pull them off and we're going to put them presentation side down. Then I'm going to put some more honey on top of the ribs, because as it cooks, that honey is just going to get warm and spread all over as well. I want these to be an absolute flavor packing experience. So went on with basically the entire jar of honey, and then I go ahead and wrap these ribs up. That's also super important here. You can see I actually left a little bit of space for like smoke to still penetrate through. I actually went back on that afterwards. I don't really show it here, but I actually folded down some tinfoil and slotted it in to cover that off. That's really important as well. Now next up, I'm going to go in with some Tyler's Hot Stuff Holy Haskap Jelly. Now if you're not familiar with what Haskap berries are, they're also known as honey berries in other parts of the world. They're an edible fruit native to cold temperature regions of the northern hemisphere, like Canada, Russia, and Japan. The name Haskap comes from the Japanese word for berry, reflecting on its cultural significance in Japan's northern island of Hokkaido. Sorry if I messed that last word up. I have a horrible accent, so anyway. So I go ahead and I get this jam pulled out, and it's just got that red, vibrant color that I friggin' love. I love when my ribs come out with a red hue. I don't know what it is, but I get so pumped up about it. Anyway, if you've never had Haskap berries, I highly recommend you check them out. Their flavor is it's a unique taste. It combines elements of like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and like a subtle tartness from cranberries. It's really cool. They're kind of weird looking though. They're like small, they're oblong shaped, dark blue. They got a purple interior. Anyway, really interesting color profile to them, taste profile as well. But what we're doing here is we're getting it fully coated on this tinfoil. So let's pull those ribs off the offset smoker, put them presentation side down, get them wrapped up in that tinfoil all nice like. You'll notice with this wrapping here, I actually did cover them fully. And if you pay attention to the background when I put it in, you can kind of see the other rack of ribs should be covered up correctly now. But yeah, that's real important here. We're gonna get these nice and wrapped back on the offset smoker running at 275 and continuing to cook these through. Now at this point, we've hit the 5-hour mark. This is a great point. At this part, your ribs just look incredible. This is the part you get to look and just enjoy the view. Oh yeah, look at that. These are the honey ribs. They look just glistening. I was so thrilled with how they looked. And then I pulled these off. Check out that bone pull right there. That's insane. Oh, hell yeah. And it's still holding together. That's also really important here. So not only do we have unbelievable bone pull, but boy, oh boy, are these looking just deadly. Anyway, from the tinfoil, all that butter and like flavor and everything, you'll notice I'm making sure to pour it back on top of the rack of ribs. We do not want to waste any of those juices. We want to make sure it's all fully covered on there. And just look at these 2 racks of ribs. Let me get you guys in there for a closer shot. Check this out. 10 out of 10. I'm thrilled about this cook. On the right-hand side are the Haskap berry ribs. On the left-hand side are the honey ribs. Both of them have unbelievable bone pull. Both of them look absolutely delicious. The bark has built perfectly on these. I can't wait to cut into these. Check out the smoke ring and just get a bite of that absolute flavor-packing barbecue. Holy cow. So we've officially hit the milestone, everyone. 6-hour mark has been passed. I am very excited about this. So let's go ahead and pull these ribs off. I'll also scoot over that pulled pork there, but that's for another video. And let's get these inside and take a look at them. And yeah, holy cow, 10 out of 10. I'm thrilled with how this cook turned out. Not only are those honey ribs just glistening and looking perfect, these Haskap ribs, which I've never done before, are just looking and smelling amazing. So I really got to buckle up here and get cutting into these. I'm curious if the bones are just going to pull out or not. See, I don't like it when my bones just pull directly out of the meat. I want there to be a little bit of tug. I want to be able to pick up my bone and talk to you aggressively without the meat falling off, but then being able to just take that bite and rip the meat off. So I got a little bit more of this pure Nova Scotian honey, and I go and drizzle just the remainder of it on here. I really enjoy this part. It's kind of like, you know, after 6 hours of cooking ribs, that's a long cook. It doesn't matter if you are used to barbecue or not. You know, especially with an offset smoker like I'm using. I'm not using just a regular old pellet grill. I have to babysit my barbecue every 10 to 15 minutes just to make sure things aren't spiking, temperatures aren't out of control. So this is just really enjoyable for me. Go back in with some of that Tyler's Hot Stuff, holy Haskap Jelly as well. I want to put an extra layer of flavor on top of this. Now, it's not as malleable as honey. I kind of have to, you know, melange it in, if you will. But holy cow, like, I'm just really excited about these ribs. This jelly is so flavorful. It's perfect for this time of year around the holidays. But honestly, I'd be happy to eat it in the middle of August, the middle of April. You just give me access to one of these jars and I'm going to eat that whole thing. I actually ate the entire jar in one day. I don't know what to say about that. But this is what I ended up with. Just delicious ribs. Super stoked with how this cook came out. These ribs just look delicious. That smoke ring is prominent. You can see it. Look at that. It looks incredible. You can see that little bit of jelly on top, that little red glisten. 10 out of 10. The ribs you're seeing not with a red glisten, well, those are the honey ribs mixed in here, and they still have a beautiful smoke ring. Everything is looking absolutely to die for. Look at these. These are just, holy cow, I'm thrilled. I can't wait to eat dinner tonight. In fact, to be clear, I actually already ate these, and they were incredible. Like, every single bite. I had a little bit of leftovers. I brought them to work. Just a 10 out of 10. So thanks so much if you're still here watching my video. I love that you guys are enjoying these recipe videos, watching through, hopefully learning how to be better barbecuers. If you guys have any questions or anything, please let me know in the comments below. If you like what you're seeing, again, let me know, and like and subscribe. I'm ever growing this community of home cooks, and I want you to be a part of it. So thank you so much for coming and watching. Really appreciate it. If I had a chance to give you a bite of some of this food, trust me, I would. Thanks again. Take care. Like and subscribe. Stay safe. Check me out on Instagram.